What's going on, everybody? Welcome to The Lore Reloaded. I am your lore master today, James, from the Lore Reloaded channel. Hey, if you're watching this video on demand, you know exactly what's about to happen. I'm going to throw a couple of things at you, then we'll just get on into it. Hey, don't forget to check me out at twitter.com/lore reloaded. If anything crazy was about to happen, you'd know about it first on twitter.com/lore reloaded. For instance, like Star Wars junk saying that they wanted to hook up and do something like do some kind of stream or podcast or something like that. Yeah. Twitter.com/lore reloaded. Also, something really cool for those of you who are interested in do the super chats. There is a new tier, $3 tier, where you get to see some fancy Expanse lore come up and pop up, and it's just there for your delight. All right, so with that out of the way, we got Hybrid Jack in the house. Captain George, always fun. For those who haven't checked out, Captain George came and hung out with me yesterday, and we did some fun talking. We got Imperious Gaming, says, "Evening lore. I'm ready to discuss the issues with Discovery if you are. I am always ready to discuss it." Tristan Norris, "Did you hear the news, Lore Reloaded, about the showrunners leaving Discovery?" I did when I started randomly looking up Star Trek Discovery for us to discuss it. Generally, I don't even bring up Discovery because I don't talk about it all that much, but a lot of people have gotten some responses, so we'll look at it. When Laura doesn't add everyone in the Discord when he starts streaming, sad face. Well, I can do that. I can do that, good buddy, if it hasn't been done. Let me go see, unless someone else did it. Someone else may have already done it. Yep, here we go. Hey, guys. At everyone. Nope, not below average. At everyone. I'm live if you want to hang out. Boom. Done. Done, good sir. Done. I only seen episode 1. Is it truly that bad? I am not a fan of it. I think that for the first couple of episodes, it's meh. It didn't turn me on or turn me off. It started getting better all the way up until past the mid-season finale, and then it just went all the way downhill again. Just whee! So I am not the hugest fan of it. I wonder if it ended up as STD in an attempt to once again push ideological beliefs. Normally I would say that makes no sense, but Discovery's pretty stupid that way. No, it's not even technically STD. It is disco. Just like Voyager isn't STV, it's Voy or Voyager. So in theory, we can give them a little bit on that. All right, so let's just jump into it. If you guys have any specific emails or anything like that, oh, I need to change that on my Stream Elements. If you have any specific articles you want me to read, send it to james@lorereloaded.com. And I will try to get it. Let me know in the chat if you sent it there. And then we can go from there. But let's go ahead and start reading a couple things. And again, I'll let you guys into it beforehand. We can start reading about the showrunners leaving. I don't think there's going to be a lot for me to add to that, though. But we can see if I agree with it or not. This is going to be coming from Hollywood Reporter. Again, if you want to send me stuff to read, I'll be happy to. Or if you just want to talk about it, we can. I don't mind not talking about. I don't mind just talking about it too. Dark Days says Discovery visually looks like a corny amalgam of Andromeda and BSG reimagined. That's considerably less entertaining than either. I do think Discovery is beautiful. I will say that. I think it is it looks very cool. Now, some of the problems with it looking so cool is that in an attempt to make it look sci-fi and make it look better, they've failed to make it look like Star Trek. By the way, if you're watching this, there's going to be nothing but spoilers. I'm assuming that you've already seen it. Darren Wagner in the house, one of my patrons from way back. I'm going to be having him on to do some discussions in the near future. Also, that reminds me, next week I will have videos going live that you haven't seen, but I am not going to be here. I'm going on a much-needed vacation. A lot of you know why. Going to hang out with my kids. It's going to be so much fun. I'm looking forward to it. So I probably won't be having any live shows, nor will I be responding until I get back, and I'll get back on about Thursday or Friday, and then we'll jump right back into it. But you'll still be getting You'll still be getting videos and everything, so you don't have to worry about that. Yeah, so we'll get into it, and then if we just want to discuss it, we can. The original series doesn't look so cool now, but it's a classic sci-fi show. I mean, it was always campy, though. When they made the first original series seasons, I don't think they ever thought it would become the franchise that it was, so they didn't worry as much. But, all right, so this from Hollywood Reporter. Sources say Aaron Herberts and Gretchen Berg ran into budget woes and complaints of staff mistreatment. Color me surprised. Out are Gretchen Berg and Aaron Herberts, who originally took over the role at the helm of the drama from Brian Fuller. The fact that it's a drama would be one of the issues why Star Trek Discovery doesn't work. But let's continue. Executive producer Alex Kurtzman, who has guided the franchise in a few of its feature films, will take over as showrunner on Season 2. As a part of the change, Kurtzman will now also oversee the Discovery Writers' Room for Season 2 as well. So, I don't hate that. That could be a really good thing, a really intriguing piece to it. But, again, I'm not turned off. And let's talk about what this isn't, by the way, guys. I put that we rage about Star Trek Discovery, because usually when I talk about Star Trek Discovery, it really pisses me off. But if I'm going to agree with them, I'm going to agree with them. If it doesn't make me mad, it's not going to make me mad. So be prepared in case I'm just talking about it. Discovery tries to do everything that the reboot of Battlestar Galactica did without realizing how much damage it does to the spirit of Star Trek IP. It's sad and frustrating. Exactly, Dark Phoenix 27. I think you exactly nailed it right there. Continuing on, though, we've made some producer changes at Star Trek Discovery. The series continues under the creative vision and leadership of executive producer and co-creator Alex Kurtzman. Discovery remains on course for Season 2 in 2019 with new and continuing stories that build on its successful premiere season. Successful, they say. It's so successful they won't really share any of the numbers, nor do any real comparisons, but it's crazy successful because they tell us so. CBS is just like the government. Trust them. Anyway, they build on its successful premiere season, producer CBS Television Studios said Thursday in a statement to The Hollywood Reporter. Sources say the decision to oust Berg and Herberts was based not on the creative, but instead for leadership and operational issues. Well, that's unfortunate, because I would hope that they would also be thrown out for the creative. Productions on Discovery's first 5 episodes of Season 2 are near completion, with Kurtzman likely taking over for Episode 6 and beyond. Berg and Herberts, who were longtime collaborators with original showrunner Fuller, will likely still be credited on the episodes they oversaw. Sources say the budget for the Season 2 premiere ballooned, with the overages expected to come out of subsequent episodes from Discovery's sophomore run. Insiders also stress that Berg and Herberts became increasingly abusive to the Discovery writing staff, with Herberts said to have leaned across the writer's room table while shouting an expletive at a member of the show's staff. Multiple writers are said to have been uncomfortable working on the series and had threatened to file a complaint with the Human Resources or quit the series altogether before informing Kurtzman of the issues surrounding Berg and Herberts. After hearing rumors of the HR complaints, Herberts is said to have threatened the staff to keep concerns with the production and internal matter. Color me surprised that this show is having issues, that the writers are being strong-armed, not allowed to be doing their job, not allowed to be creative, not allowed to go where no one has gone before, are being abused by the showrunners. I can't imagine that would be happening. I mean, it's just, the writing is just so good. I mean, it is so excellently put together, with all of the episodes cohesive, making complete sense from the beginning to the end. I mean, all you have to do is look at Lorca, who is a hater and bigot of everything alien, and how well he treats the crew of the Discovery, until you find out that he was actually hated aliens so much that eating them wasn't enough. It's just amazing to me with just how brilliant these writers were. Truly, if I was an atheist and did not believe in God, it would be the writing of Discovery that showed me that not only does God exist, but he personally loves me. What are you guys saying? Lorca was one of my favorite characters in Discovery. He was a military, hard A, and felt like what an early Starfleet captain in the middle of a war could have been. You know, I actually agree on that. And that's kind of why I was talking about how it doesn't make any sense, honestly. Is that he's a really good captain. He has a lot of Picard and Sisko in him, with a hint, he has a lot of Kirk and Sisko in him, with a hint of Picard. I think that he is excellent. He cares. He cares about everyone. He cares about his crew. He cares about the Federation. He cares about Starfleet. But he is fallible, too. He didn't go and save the Admiral when he had the chance because he didn't want to lose his command, and he was suffering from PTSD. Up until the Mirror Universe arc, everything made sense with Lorca, and it was put together really well. And Lorca actually is in my top 3 captains, because I'm going to choose to ignore the Mirror Universe. He's in my top 3. But anyway, continuing on, I also shared it. Let's see. Continuing on, sources tell THR that Discovery is nearing what has been characterized as planned production hiatus after Episode 5, which will allow Kurtzman time to regroup the show's writing staff. Production is not expected to be impacted by the showrunner change. Yeah, just like it wasn't impacted the 600 times in Season 1. I do not trust crap like this, just simply because they have historically not been the best. Let's see. In another departure for Season 2 of Star Trek, THR has learned that executive producer Akiva Goldsman did not return to Discovery after serving as Kurtzman's right-hand man during his freshman run. Goldsman was brought in to help build the world of Discovery, but the veteran producer who directed the Season 1 finale is said to have had a management style and personality that clashed with the writing staff. It's unclear if Goldsman will continue to receive an exec producer credit on Season 2. Well, I can say if Goldsman built the world of Discovery, thank God Goldsman isn't coming back. All the better. This is the second showrunner change on the Star Trek Discovery. Former showrunner Fuller clashed with CBS over the show's concept, casting, director, costumes, and budgets, and gelato machines on top of its original launch date. In October 2016, Fuller was asked to step down as showrunner after growing up as a diehard fan of the franchise and eventually working on Deep Space Nine and Voyager, when the network grew frustrated that he was splitting time with Star's hyper-stylized American Gods adaptation. Blah, 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 more about Fuller. And we don't have to talk about Fuller, because that's already happened. You know, I don't hate the changing of the guard. I don't think that the Season 1 did that well. I don't. The numbers don't make sense. It doesn't add up to me. So if they're going to change the guard, then I do think that they need to, if they want to continue to be successful, and want more people to like it, a changing of the guard isn't necessarily a bad thing. By the way, Common Sense America makes a wonderful point. 75 people watching, 25 thumbs up, 3 thumbs down. Honestly, if you don't like that I'm talking about Star Trek Discovery and you haven't hit thumbs down, you're a coward. Straight up. And if you like this, then hit that thumbs up too. But I'm just saying, hey, you don't like what I'm talking about? You come here to hate on it? Hit that thumbs down. Do it, people. Do it. Don't be scared. The thumbs up, thumbs down, more scared of you than you are of it. This sounds more like they're going to course correct and truly bring it more in line with how it should be. Yeah, so here's the thing. I don't... They did a changing of the guard in multiple different instances, and it helped the seasons. In The Next Generation, there was a changing of the guard. And I think that the Next Generation was better for it. They have said in Discovery that they're going to fix all of this. They're going to do better. They're going to make changes to put it together, right? And the funny thing is that I would not, no one would be happier than me if it succeeded, and I hope it does. I sincerely do. I sincerely hope that it succeeds and that it does well. I just don't trust them because of what was going on beforehand and what was going on with it. Again, I want Discovery to do well. They've lied so many times. Eric Gibson. Funny that I was talking about that and he says this. Of course, there's a delay. I'm sorry, Lore, but you are too negative for me anymore. I grew up with Trek as part of my life, and I like Discovery as well. Those two things are not necessarily consistent. I grew up with Trek as well, my good friend. I do not like Discovery. I do not like Discovery for multiple reasons. Now, if you find that I'm too negative, I mean, it's possible I'm being overly negative, but I don't think it isn't without appropriate reason. Now, if you think it is, and you don't like the way the channel's going, then the channel may not be for you, and that sucks, but it is what it is. If, though, you would like to have a discussion with me and let me know why you think I'm too negative, and why it's good, I'd be more than happy to have that discussion. Christopher Perkins becoming a lore master. Welcome, Christopher. Fedora and sunglasses. First time I was able to catch live. Well, thank you. Welcome. Glad you can be here. But yeah, I mean, if you disagree with me, that's fine. It doesn't bother me. If you think I'm too negative, if you don't like me giving my opinion, then the channel may not be for you. Because I'm not here to talk. I'm here to give my honest opinion and to be sarcastic and to just have a good time with geeks and nerds and things and just enjoy our culture. So if you don't like it, well, that sucks, but it is what it is. But I'm more than happy to talk about it. Tell me why you think I'm wrong, why it's good. Let's discuss it. Bill Ontario, I'm honestly afraid to watch Discovery from what I've heard, instead of watching the last few seasons of DS9, figuring I can enjoy myself. See, and here goes another point. Anyone who comes up to me and says, hey, I'm afraid to watch Discovery, I don't know if I'd like it or not. What I would say to that is CBS offers a free week, I believe, and I would binge it. If you're nostalgic, Sup335, joining in the house, welcome, becoming a lore master. If you enjoy... if you're nostalgic, if you like it because if you like The Next Generation, if you like the way that it used to be, if you like Darkness but Deep Space Nine, where there's still a pinnacle, there's still a standard, it's not we can do anything we want because we're not on cable TV. I don't think you're going to enjoy it. But I do think that you should at least try it if it's free. If you have to pay for it, I don't know that I would do it, honestly. But if you are a diehard fan and you live, breathe, and eat Trek, then go ahead. Imperious Gunning, buddy, you're not negative. You're just like a YouTuber named Swanee, who covers EA Battlefront 2 and tells it how it is, just like you do. Keep doing what you do. Thank you, Imperious Gaming. Yeah, see, that's... Sup335, just unsubscribe to get that mess. Yeah, if people abuse that too much, I'll turn it off. So, and a lot of people actually have been doing that, because I can see if my subscribers go up and they instantly drop a second and then come back up. I don't think you're getting it past me. I know what everybody's doing. But yeah, I mean, again, this channel is meant as a vlog / lore channel, and I'm just going to give it the way I am, and if you like it, great. If you don't, I get it. Elements of Discovery are good ideas, but when a developed world strays too far from what's known and without proper reasoning, then you're doing something wrong. I don't necessarily believe in the No True Scotsman, and I think that has a little bit of No True Scotsman to it. I
Data, I am not talking about parenting. I am talking about the extraordinary consequences of creating a new life.
Does that not describe becoming a parent, sir?
By the way, for those who want to give $3, I got Expanse stuff. I got some new Expanse clips. So if you do $3, you get Expanse clips. If the IP holder says that it's Star Trek, then it is, in my opinion, Star Trek. And like you said, I think they have some wonderful ideas. And some very interesting ways you could have went with it, right? But I don't think they were true to the original Trek. And you can say, hey, this is not what Trek was. This is completely different. This is a change. And so you can say, I don't like that change. I don't know that I'd say it's not Trek, because it is whatever CBS says it is, but still. Trip the Trippy one says, so you know my wife is giving me a neck massage topless? And where is your TR-119, and where can I get one too? I have no idea what you're talking about, Trippy. I think you're living up to your name right now. Dustin Peterson, I love your vidcast. Lore Reloaded is fun and insightful. You have made me think about issues of sci-fi that I never considered. That's the point of this. That's why I do this. So I'm glad you enjoy it. It's about challenging and looking at our own community and everything, and just doing it.
What are you? A monk?
So, a captain who ultimately turns out to be from the mirror universe and has been considered like the protagonist isn't a bad idea. That's actually very interesting. That's very intriguing. A mirror universe captain gets stuck in the Prime universe, and he pretends to be the Prime captain. And so you have these little clues here and there. Unfortunately, I think that was something that was added in at the last point, because some of it's not cohesive. But that is very... That could be a really good story. The fact that there's this war that occurs that's never talked about, that has the Federation just getting itself stomped. That's interesting too. I don't hate that, because why did we never hear about it? Why is that never continued on? Where do you go with that? Here's another point to it. Here's another interesting point to it as well. A ship that is far more advanced than it should be. It has things that we know it shouldn't have. And it is doing things that we know it shouldn't be done. But we do know that it's in the Prime timeline. How do you make all of that fit? And I told you guys I was going to do a rewrite. And I intend to do that. It's just a lot of stuff has come up. But here's what I think to fix everything would have made it interesting. Now, it is a reset button, and a lot of people would have gotten very angry about it. But I think it's a really interesting way to go about it. Everything that happened in Star Trek Discovery happened. Everything. Up until they leave the mirror universe. Ultimately, the way that should have ended is they leave the mirror universe, but since they're traveling in time, they don't overshoot. They come back to the exact time when it started. And you have ultimately, you have Burnham, who realizes her mistake, realizes what occurred, realizes that she should not have attempted the coup, wanted to save and change and make everything right, and she realized that there was a connection between the spore drive and the archaic ship. And so she gives her life. Ultimately, you have this big rigmarole. She gives her life, slams it into that ship, destroys it, destroys the Discovery, which causes the spore drive to explode infinitely in all directions with a complete reset, and it starts back. She finds herself back on the Shinzu, and instead of the Shinzu looking like what it was looking like before, it looks like what we would expect to see in that era. And so you don't have this updated tech or anything like that. And her captain's there. She does it right. She doesn't fire on the ship. They follow the appropriate, and then she gets promoted to captain of the Discovery. Or she's transferred to the Discovery, and you still have Lorca. You could make that work, and you could do all of these interesting things and have everything they wanted to still have. I just think that it needed a reset button. Now, that would have made a lot of people mad, so I kind of understand why they didn't do that. But it would have been intriguing to see. I think that would have been very fun, honestly. But yeah, Allure Reloaded, I don't think a psychologist should be an admiral. I think only tactical should have the right. I didn't like her character. Don't even remember her name. I know who you're talking about, Darth Revan. I forget her name too. I don't mind that. Starfleet Medical has admirals. I'm sure in the United States, I don't know, but I would assume in the United States military there are admirals who are ahead of the medical divisions and stuff. I honestly don't know. But I think that... I think that her being admiral doesn't bother me. In fact, I like the idea, if we're going to have a war with the Klingons and we're going to have the Federation annihilated, then let's have that interesting conversation. Let's have the Federation so destroyed that, you know who is in charge? The person who was head of Starfleet Medical. And then you have another very intriguing arc where you have this woman, almost like Battlestar Galactica with Rosalind, I think, the president. You have this woman who was not prepared to be ahead of Ian. Thanks for becoming a lore master. Who was not prepared to be head of Starfleet, and so now, and she's constantly being questioned. So let's say she's consistently being questioned. So let's say that she is trying to give orders, and you have these, not admirals, but maybe these commanders or these vice admirals who are tactical geniuses who are telling her, no, you're doing it wrong. You're not doing what's right. You need to listen to us. You were never meant to be head of Starfleet Tactical. What are you doing? And so you have all of these conversations, all of these people going against her, and she proves them wrong. She does outthink the Klingons when the tactical officers never could have, or didn't, or would have fallen into a trap. England DG, Star Trek Discovery sucks massive tribble balls. This is what Picard thinks of that. Yeah. Thanks so much for the support. That's how I keep the lights on. It's how I'm able to continue to do this. But yeah, I think there's a lot you could have done with it. And I guess that's... People get it wrong. And I bet Eric unsubscribed and then left, which is unfortunate. Because people honestly misunderstand me. I get so upset because I see what Discovery could have been with these ideas. I also get so upset because I think that they just lied for views and lied for money. And it frustrates me. I get so upset because unlike DS9, unlike even TNG to the level they do it, even the original series to the level they do it, they push an agenda for kudos, not to prove any points, just for pats on the head. And that frustrates me. Darren Wagner, in the U.S. Navy, a medical officer, regardless of rank, wouldn't be in command of a ship. Sure, so this obviously isn't the real world. There's a lot of things that are different. I can see in Starfleet a admiral in the medical division being ahead. There's a ton of things that don't occur. I just think that would be a good arc, even if it isn't as realistic. I loved Enterprise, and it was new and different, but I don't like Discovery, so your argument falls apart, mate, says Red Snopia. I don't know if you're talking to me or someone else. That doesn't make any sense. England DG, CBS equals Ferengi, Klink's gold-plated Latinum. They really are. They're the pinnacle of everything Gene Roddenberry thought about capitalism. CBS, honest to God, is. They have stole thousands upon thousands of dollars from the mouths of my children. I have no respect for them. Their law department, their legal department, nicest people on the face of the planet. I've talked to them, but they strong-arm you because they know they can outlast you with money in court. SC says, lied? Who lied? Well, let's run down it, shall we?
Sir? The last thing I expected.
One of y'all got to give $3 to see The Expanse. You'll love it. So they lied. Let's run down this entire affair, shall we? It's in the prime timeline. They have things that is in the SC is good people. Don't put SC down. It's in the prime timeline. They have things that absolutely couldn't have existed in the prime timeline. They don't care about continuity. There are constant continuity gaffes, all the way from the mundane to the issues that make no sense at all, like the invisibility screen or.
What are you?
Thank you, England DG. Y'all, lawyers are always nice as they file the motion to stab you in the back. Yeah, I mean, again, I like their legal department. I talked to a couple of the lawyers there to work with them. They really are nice people, but they strong-arm you. Yeah, so you go from the invisibility screen, which doesn't make any sense and isn't with continuity, to the mutiny, which did not occur or wasn't supposed to occur. You also have issues with the retconning of Spock's father, especially when it comes to who he endorses, who he doesn't. You have some issues in the mirror universe with things that don't make sense. They lied about a ton of stuff when it comes to what Discovery was about. And it irritates me to the nines that they expect to be trusted. SC, it is the prime timeline storyline, but visually updated. Unlike others, Trekyards and Anti-Trekker have some issues. I don't mind the visual updates as much. Some of it doesn't make a lot of sense, but I don't mind the visual updates as much. But I've already given you clear inconsistencies and continuity gaffes, which is, again, the invisibility screens, which would have been brought up. There's no way around that. That's just stupid. The mutiny, which we had issues with. The Vulcan Hello has all kinds of issues with it as well. And that's just off the top of my head. If I sat back and I thought about it, Kelpians apparently play a huge effing role in the Discovery, but we never really see a lot of them past that, any at all. The fact that arguably women weren't in charge of starships, and I know a lot of people have tried to walk around that little one, but there is continuity gaps. And just so we're clear, I actually don't mind them going against that one, but still, it is a continuity gaffe. And they said all of this. The spore drive is not consistent with anything we know. So there's just a lot to it that they said this is going to be prime timeline. If this wasn't prime timeline, if this was Kelvin, if this was an alternate reality, fixes a large majority of my issues. What's going on, L Week? Hope you're doing well. Lore Reloaded, how about the Klingons? The Klingons I'm kind of torn on, if I'm being honest. The Klingons... SC, you are trolling me. There is no invisibility screens, not the same as cloaks. You are trolling. There's no way. No person with an IQ above 10 would say that. No person on the face of the planet. No, okay. What was I talking about beforehand? The Klingons. You're not going to do it, SC. You almost pulled me in. You're not going to do it. I don't have a huge issue with the Klingons. Klingons have consistently changed from format to format throughout. If you look at the original series, from the original series to the original series movies was a huge change. From the original series movies to TNG to DS9, you continue to see changes. Not only in the way they looked, but in the way they worked with honor and the way the entire culture and society and cast worked. So the more I think about it, I'm not a fan of how the Klingons are done, but it's consistent with how everything it's consistent with how Star Trek works. So I don't get too upset about that anymore. I used to get somewhat frustrated, but for me, I don't...
I am not talking about parenting. I am talking about the extraordinary consequences of creating a new life.
Does that not describe becoming a parent, sir?
My biggest complaint about Star Trek Discovery was how they portrayed the Klingons. Although I don't share your hatred for the show, yet my hatred is my frustration. So to call it hatred, I don't know is accurate. It's very frustrated. I understand it. By the way, Marlinda Fish is also a patron, so it's always appreciated every time you help out, buddy. Again, I don't get too upset about the orcs or the orcs, you guys got me saying it, the Klingons, simply because they've changed so much. I do think the fact that they say these Klingons had honor, and then the original series, not the movies, those Klingons had no honor at all. So it doesn't make a lot of sense that they go from honor to no honor to honor. Also, those Klingons were not honor. They had no honor whatsoever. It was completely and utterly stupid. They would let an enemy that fought valiantly die instead of killing them and giving them the death they deserve. They would do all kinds of things that lacked honor, and yet tried to talk about how the Klingons have honor in their society. That was inconsistent as well. England DG. Nicholas Janesek, welcome to becoming a lore master. The only woman I need in my kitchen is a Neelix. Okay. Well, you could have a woman or man in your kitchen, but if you want Neelix in your kitchen and you want to die of food poisoning, that is on you. Let's see. They explained the visual and Enterprise, says Hot Wheels F. What do you mean by that? Walk me through that. See, and that's the frustrating thing, though. If you look at Enterprise, they can do a prequel that is updated but is true to the visuals. The NX-01 Enterprise looks like what you would expect from a United Earth Starfleet before it became the Coalition of Planets, which ultimately would become the United Federation of Planets. The way it worked made a lot of sense. So, I think Enterprise, when you look at it like that, is a good example of how you could do a prequel and keep it earnest. Jason Powell up in the house. I got other ones other than that. I don't know why it keeps picking that one. Yo, just joined. Sorry for being late. No problem, Jason Powell. Thanks for joining. Jason Powell actually is the first person to ever buy some of my swag, which you can get at TeePublic. And proudly wearing the shirts and everything. Always appreciated, Jason. Glad you could make it, buddy. Trueblade, don't you think this is all symptomatic of this new generation who are all about reinterpretation of lore? I think reimaginings are a big... I think reimaginings are a huge deal now, especially with Battlestar Galactica doing so well. I don't mind reimaginings. I just want you to be honest about it. If you're going to reimagine it, just people are still going to come. People are still going to watch it. And people would enjoy it more, I think. So, yeah. Hot Wheels F, to cure a disease, they lost the ridges. So here's an interesting thing with that, actually, believe it or not. The augment virus, a lot of people get confused about that. The augment virus did not impact all of the Klingon Empire. It did impact a large number of the Klingon Empire. And the only interactions most of the original series... well, I can't even say that. The Enterprise crew... well, no, because when you look at Deep Space Nine... So, no? I'm sorry, I'm trying to work this all out in my head. The original... So, at least in the original series with the 1701 Enterprise, they only encountered the smooth-head Klingons. But we do know that the Klingons did have ridges before that and did have ridges even during the original series. What I question is did the Federation... It would seem to me like the Federation knew of Klingons that had the ridges and they still interacted with it. It's just we were following the Enterprise, and the Enterprise only ever interacted with Klingons that didn't have the ridges. And wow, I hope that made sense. If that didn't, let me know. Let's see. Fuller said he was going to visually reimagine the universe, and he did. No one lied. No one lied. No one lied. No one lied at all. Star Trek Discovery. No one lied. None of them. They didn't at all. No one at all ever lied. They're all honest. Every last one of them. Well, nope, that's not what I'm looking for. Just the honest peoples. None of them lied. Tell you what, how about you guys, someone find me some articles from 2017 when they talk about the primes and when they talk about Star Trek Discovery coming out. How about we let's go through them. So don't put it here because you'll get banned. Send it to james@lorereloaded.com and let's find some articles talking about what they said that Discovery was going to be. And let's see if they lied. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe SC will prove every one of us wrong. All right. Marlinda Fish, help, help. I'm drowning in sarcasm. Oh, man. Quark was the only non-captain to give the last line at the ending of a series. I didn't know that. Okay. I'm sorry. That's going to take me a minute. And be nice to SC. SC's good people. He's been with us for quite a while. I really think that he's trolling here. I honest to God do. Sup 3035, gotta go to bed. Thanks for coming, buddy. I appreciate you being here. Regarding the way the Klingons look, I think it was probably due to budget constraints in TOS, hence why Worf and DS9 never explained what happened regarding the ridges. I don't think that it was issues with the money. I don't think they ever intended for them to have ridges. And I think the original series finally started becoming legit, and they saw a franchise here. So in the movies, they gave them ridges. They updated it and everything like that. So I think that's where that came from. I don't think they did it because they didn't have the money. I just don't think they didn't think about it until they started getting a lot of money. And so I think that's where it goes. SC, it is James@lorereloaded.com. I'll be happy to send the propaganda you send me. Mr. Miles, it also mentioned in Enterprise that the Klingon disfigurement was going to be passed down to their children, spreading the effect out even more. Sure, and I'm not saying it wasn't widespread. What I am saying is that it didn't impact all of the Empire. The augment virus didn't hit everybody. I don't necessarily have a huge issue with the virus. A lot of people do. I personally don't. Type the email. You guys, I've said it 600 times. James@lorereloaded.com. It is literally my first name, James, at mychannelname.com. Worf gets touchy about the subject. He does indeed get touchy about the subject. Of that, I agree. Hey, Spot. James, I'm happy you are watching Data's cat form. I am. I think he's getting mad at me. All right, so I'll give it a couple more seconds. We'll read this. LOL, Lore is so flustered he forgot how to English. I did. That happens. Can someone please explain what happens to the schematics of the Ship of the Dead? Because by the time of the original series, they could have used a few more of those puppies to conquer everywhere. Yeah, that's, it was one of those things, no prototype, no backup, no, only one, or however they say, it's that cliche. They never thought to build more. They never thought to advance the screens, the invisibility screens. The invisibility screens are cloaks, straight up. And if you say they're not, you are fanboying to an awesome degree. Hey, Lore, here's a somewhat positive thing about Discovery. They haven't retconned or outright ignored, get rid of what Destiny 2 has done over the base and both DLCs. I bet that's a joke I don't get because I don't play Destiny. You say it's sent. I'm not seeing it yet, buddy. I will tell. There it is. Oh, it's from EW. I'm sure that's not... Okay. Now, I'm going to read this, but it's going to have to bring up all kinds of things, like the invisibility cloak, like the Vulcan hello, and all kinds of stuff. And then we got something from Darth Revan. We'll probably end on these. So let's do this. No entertainment tonight. I don't want any of your crap. Go away. They were trying to sell me stuff. All right. From Entertainment, EW.com, the great James Hibbard. The showrunner behind the new Star Trek TV series just revealed a lot of fresh information about the new series, including that the upcoming series will focus on a female lead character. Yay! Likely played by an actor with a level of diversity. Fantastic. Who will be a lieutenant commander on a starship. As the Television Critics Association press tour in Beverly Hills on Wednesday, writer-producer Brian Fuller took questions from critics. Star Trek is being rebooted for the small screen. Next January, a Star Trek Discovery, which will be launched on CBS and then exclusively switched to the network's streaming service, CBS All Access. Another Trek series previously had a female lead, Voyager, which ran from 1995 to 2001, starred Kate Mulgrew. Rebooted definition. Reboot, start or revive. A process or sequence, especially a series of films or television programs. Give fresh impetus to. Impetus definition. The force or energy with which a body moves, the force that makes something happen or happens more quickly. Tell me how reboot is another word for reimagined. The cloaking tech is the same as stealth. There are different generations of tech. Hey guys, you know what we're going to do? All right. In the medieval times, what they would do is they'd hide behind rocks and in bushes. These days, they use paint that makes it so that radar can't find it. Same thing. It's all stealth tech, guys. It's all stealth tech. All stealth tech. Same thing. Same thing. Same thing. It's just because we'll just call it all stealth tech, and it's the same thing. That way it's not. You understand, because the invisibility screens are invisibility screens that cloak you, and it's stealth tech. And the cloak is a cloak that cloaks you, and it's stealth tech. Completely different. More details. In a teaser video, Fuller compared his Star Trek to a novel over 13 episodes, which hints at very serialized storylines instead of an episodic one. Fuller on the premise, there's an incident and an event in Star Trek history that's been talked about but never been explored. To do this series, we're telling a much more serialized story to dig deep into very tantalizing storyline. And we have a character who's on a journey in order to understand something that is alien. She first has to understand herself. The event is something that was referenced in the original series, but not the Romulan War, or Section 31. Or Kirk wrestling with the Kobayashi Maru test. It's only been referenced, never seen, he said. That sentence tells you absolutely nothing. On selective diverse cast, Star Trek started with a wonderful expression of diversity in its cast. Our lead of the show is going to be the subject of that same level of who's the best actor and also what we can say about diversity on the show. Those are two opposite things. It's not if it's the best actor, then it's not necessarily who has a level of diversity. If it's somebody who has a level of diversity, then that's fine. But let's not say it's the best person for the job. We're looking for someone who is diverse, not necessarily someone who is a better actor or actress than somebody else. Okay, we're going to get off the diversity. That has nothing to do with the conversation we're having. Yeah, so, I mean, that's just all now talking about diversity, and more diversity. What exactly about that is telling me that this is a reimagined SC? Walk me through that. Because it says it rebooted it. A reboot isn't necessarily a reimagined. A reboot just means it's point. I mean, SC, I'll go through the bullet points if you want me to, but they don't seem to be adding much to it. So I'll continue on with the bullet points, but they don't seem to be adding much to it. I'm going to skip the diversity because that doesn't add anything at all. Let's see. The star won't be the captain, but rather a lieutenant commander with caveats, he said. We've seen 6 series from the captain's point of view to see a character from a different perspective on the starship, one who has different dynamic relationships with a captain, with subordinates. It gives us richer context. This shows that he has no idea and hasn't ever actually watched Star Trek because it's never really been. Maybe the original series was a focus on the captain. All of the others are ensemble pieces. It's never really been a focus on the quote-unquote captain since TNG on. So this shows that he just doesn't understand Star Trek and probably has never watched one in his life before he actually went into it. Man, I wonder how he didn't make it through the series. Gay characters. Absolutely, we're having a gay character. Fantastic, Fuller said. He noted that as a gay man working on Voyager, he had a file full of hate mail when there was a rumor a character on his show was going to be gay. So he was determined if he ever did his own Star Trek show, he would have a gay character. We've come a long way since then. I feel like actually gay rights have come a lot farther in the time that race and issues and women's issues. I don't necessarily have a problem with that. I think that I'm actually glad that we've moved into a time where it's not stigmatized. So I can agree with that. Somebody asks if there will be robots. Fuller says yes. Star Trek Discovery will be set in the Prime universe. So in the timeline of the original shows, not the J.J. Abrams reboot films. You know, the original ones where we had holographic technology that allowed people to walk along the ships and not view screens. The original Prime timeline where there's windows and not view screens. The original timeline where women are in command of ships at this point. You know, the Prime timeline. Oh, okay. Be set in the Prime timeline. About a decade before Captain Kirk's 5-year mission, we can redefine the visual style. He said, "We get to play with all of the iconography of those ships and the universe, since we are doing these series in 2016, and all of the other series have been produced at a time that isn't as sophisticated as we are now with what we can do production-wise. We're going to be reestablishing an entire look for the series, not only for the series, but for what we wanted to accomplish with Star Trek beyond this series." Okay. On including familiar characters from the original series, there's so much about the history that once we get through this first season and establish our own Star Trek universe with the crew that going to be reimagining a lot of Star Trek elements, we'll be looking in the second season to open up to more familiar characters and how they can feed into the show. First and foremost, I think we really want to convince you and establish the greatness of the new characters that are going to be introduced. It can't be reimagined if it's in the Prime universe. He just doesn't know how to run a show. He hasn't watched Star Trek, so he doesn't know that it's reimagined. He worked on Voyager. I guess he was just having an embolism when he was doing that. Either that or he just got paid to do nothing, because God knows Hollywood pays tons of people to do jack shit, and that's the only reason that he would say some of the things he said here. And fine, if he said it was reimagined, it's fine. Can't be in prime time if it's reimagined. It's just that simple. Those are literally the opposite. You can't... I stand corrected, SC. I stand corrected. He did in fact say that it was reimagined. That is fantastic. He did in fact say that. He also said it's prime timeline. Those two things can't be. Those two things can't exist at all. We'll keep going, though. Will Discovery look like the Enterprise? A saucer section, the cells, and the design that we leaked early on has changed considerably, but still very much inspired by those illustrations. Fantastic. So, yeah. Cool. You found me a part where he literally... He did... You can't say something... I'm trying to think of something just as ludicrous. This is wet and yet not wet. It cannot be prime and reimagined. Those are literally different things. I will grant that he did say that it was reimagined, but he absolutely lied by saying that they're bringing back nostalgic, that it's staying prime timeline. Ponyo 3816. You know what? I like the show and enjoy the differences in the universe. That's great. I don't know if I don't think he's a troll. Again, SC's good people. He's been here for a while. I'm not mad at SC. All right, let's read one more. SC, I stand corrected. He did in fact say that it was reimagined. He also said
with the Progressive app, you can...
Oh, no. He also went on to say that it was always focused on the captain. But that's all right. He's also no longer a part of the show. What's up, Boofire191? Not because of the Force, because quantum, good friend. Because quantum. Let me see. CBS planning reimagining of After Trek for season 2. We're the After Trek show, so I don't know why they're reimagining that. We're the After Trek. All right, Saniqua Marton. Let's see if this has anything good, and then I guess we'll end it from there. Now, Everyone, SC, did you say the average IQ of the chat is really low? Then you're gone, SC. You're dead to me, buddy. All right, let's read this. Well, I mean, if SC is being mean to everybody, then I guess, or he's being insulting, then yeah, maybe I misjudged SC. As the first black female lead of a Star Trek series and the first to not sit in the captain's chair, Sonequa Martin Green is breaking new ground in the franchise with her character, Michael Burnham. We sat down with the actress to talk about the show, her role, and how she approaches the dual sides of the character. As the first black female lead and the first not to sit in the captain's chair, she's breaking new ground. Okay. You're the first protagonist in Star Trek to not be a captain. No. Okay, you're the first protagonist in Star Trek to not be a captain. How was that pitched to you? I had a pretty good understanding of that. What I knew about Michael Burnham being the first officer and not the captain was that they were pursuing different and unique paths for the story. Because we had always seen the captain, we'd always seen every world of Star Trek from the eyes of the captain. So something that Brian Fuller and Alex Kurtzman wanted to do was define a new Star Trek with a new identity. That is not how that's worked, as I've stated before. There were all kinds of things they put into place to help establish that, and one of them was having the lead be the first officer. What I really love about it is that it becomes a story of ascension and a story of that upward mobility, and a lot of us can relate to, and you see someone who is unfinished, and so you can then jump into the story with them and grow with them. I don't know if that is how I would define it, but okay. Do you envision a future in the series in which Michael becomes captain? I definitely think that's in the future, and that's part of the journey for sure. We're certainly not closed off to it, but who knows when. It's certainly a part of it because the journey to captain has been driving Michael from the very beginning, and definitely since joining Starfleet. That progression and that yearning to ascend is almost a pillar in her personality. See, I don't mind reading this, but I just don't necessarily agree with that's how her character has been portrayed. To be fair, though, this is before it happened. Yeah, and see, that's the interesting thing. We saw TNG through Data's eyes the most. I will grant that the beginning of every series has started with... I don't even know that I'd make that argument with Voyager. I don't think I'd make that argument with Voyager. But most series started with the captain and following the captain to get an understanding of the crew. But from there, it was always ensemble. It was always about the crew and the experience, not the captain. The original series maybe was a following of the captain. Of that, I think I would agree. But TNG, Deep Space Nine, Voyager definitively weren't. Enterprise, you might have had a reasonable argument as well. Jay the Dog 84, Cisco was a commander, not a captain when DS9 started. That's true. But, I mean, you get what they're saying. But, I mean, that's a good point to bring up. Cisco wasn't a captain either. So, I don't get too mad at that, because I understand what they're trying to say, as in not in command. But I don't... You know, it's... The way it comes off, too, I think is insulting. And I'm probably going to get a lot of flack from this. And I'm probably going to get some people to unsubscribe. But the way this article, specifically by Den of Geek, is written, it makes it sound like it's never enough. Because they're like, well, she's the first black female to be the protagonist. And, you know, that the reason they put it that way is because we know there's been a black commander to be the protagonist. And it's just written so biased and so unfortunate, because I think they give ammunition to bigots when they don't have to. Honestly, there's not a lot here that I may just disagree with some of it, but not all of it. Here's an interesting one, maybe. Star Trek, and this is, again, Den of Geeks asking Sonika. By the way, welcome SP43H, becoming a lore master. Star Trek is one of the fandoms known for its purists. How have you responded to some of the backlash to a change in tone and structure? The backlash isn't really about the tone and structure, but about them out and out changing things they didn't need to and continuity issues, but whatever. Sonequa responds, by and large, the reaction has been overwhelmingly positive. Okay. And Suicide Squad was awesome, and just for the fans, too. Going on. And we definitely appreciate that because we wanted to make this iteration of Star Trek uphold the legacy while establishing its own identity. Maybe you could say that. Maybe it can uphold the legacy and have its own identity. We wanted to make those people who carry it so near and dear to their hearts proud. No, you didn't. That's out and out lie. But we also wanted to make this something that anyone could grab a hold of, even if you haven't seen anything in the canon. We understand those purist fans, as you call them, where they're coming from, and I, for one, certainly appreciate that these people are highly intelligent and highly passionate. Well, thank you, Sonequa. The reason why they have such strong views is because of their passion and because they engage. That's what we want more than anything, the engagement. We love it, and we love the positive reaction. We love the opinions. We love it all. See, why can't Fuller talk like this? Your cat's having none of that swinging. Is he getting upset at my swinging? Look at this. She is so amazing. She'll end up Starfleet's first black female mutineer captain. Yeah. All right. Do you think Discovery will get its act together and be a strong Star Trek show? I hope it does. See, that's where people get confused at. SC, it's Star Trek, not Star Trek, says the person that was getting upset about semantics. So I want Discovery to be well. I want it to be all that it can be. I want it to be a Deep Space Nine. I want it to be the next generation. I want it to pole vault Star Trek into a way. I want it to pole vault Trek into where it's Star Wars. I do. Personally, I think Star Trek has told the stories that it has to tell. When I watch, let me say this: when I watch season 2, I'll be the first to say I was wrong and be very happy if they turn it around. Or I'll be the first to be very happy if they don't fix anything in season 1. If nothing is fixed in season 1. But season 2 has its act together and they just go with the flow. And yeah, so Jeremy Johns said something that I thought was prolific, and I will keep with me. One thing I'll give Discovery is that it tried new things. It took a risk. And that is in the spirit of Star Trek. That is. But you know what else is taking a risk? Sleeping with your neighbor's wife. Just because you can take a risk doesn't make it a good idea. The Dark Instar. Now this is... So, and I'm not necessarily talking to you, Dark Instar, when I say this, but this is what a lot of apologists say. In my opinion, at least the first season of almost every series started off weak. I think every season started off weak when it comes to Trek. Every every season. But when I look at the first season of Discovery, when I look at the first season of when I look at the first season of TNG, or Voyager, or Deep Space Nine, they didn't out and out not care about the continuity. They didn't out and out say it's going to be prime timeline and then reimagine whatever the hell they wanted. That said, Star Trek has not only does Star Trek have a history of bad first seasons, but generally in 5 to 10 years, the first seasons aren't as bad and people actually start liking them. It is quite possible we're going to see that happen with Discovery. Joda 175 depends on how hot the wife is. I think it's a risk no matter what, brother. That's my opinion on it. It's funny though. I'll give you made me laugh. This honestly somewhat makes me tired, if I'm honest, because it's unfortunate. It makes me sad because there are people right now, and I'm not necessarily upset about people unsubscribing. People unsubscribe every day. But it's unfortunate that stuff like this tears us apart, and that because of what the writers and the execs and things decided to do, it's left a negative impact. Because it didn't have to be like this. It really didn't. And if they had phrased it better, or done better, I think that we wouldn't be where we are. SC, in the TNG era, it was the same production crew. Of course it's going to look the same for budget reasons mainly. Okay, so I don't see how that means anything or changes anything on what I just said, but let's assume that somehow it does. You still have DS9, Voyager, and Enterprise that did the same thing. The only one that changed it was Discovery. Again, here's the thing. Maybe they did learn their lesson, and maybe Season 2 is going to be everything we wanted it to be. And I hope it is. I just don't trust it. And nothing they've done has given me hope to trust it. Especially when they come out with something called a trailer, and all it is references back to original, using Leonard Nimoy stuff, using other people's stuff, and then showing the sets being made. Peter Gray, welcome to becoming a lore master. That just is the exact same thing that they've been doing since Season 1, which is why I don't have any hope for it. Hybrid Jack, it's psychologically proven humans like things we are more familiar with. It's no less trash. We are just psychologically wired to like it more as we get more familiar with it. Okay, that's true. The Sojourn cast is revealed tomorrow. It's not all bad. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the Sojourn. I'm not going to be on the cast, alas. I actually like JJ Verse. I think there's quite a few inconsistencies and continuities, but I don't mind the JJ Verse. Yeah, it's just so sad. It's unfortunate. I hope that they pull it out. I hope I'm wrong. I hope SC comes on here. I hope Eric comes back. I hope Trexpertise is able to shove it in my face and say, "Look at this, you idiot." I don't mind being wrong or taken to task when it's a net positive for everyone. See you later, SC. Always a pleasure. I'm glad we can talk about this and you still be here. See you next time, brother. The middle of the season always seemed dull and boring, in my opinion, says Michael. No, I really liked the middle of the season. I think that's the best Discovery, is the middle part. If I was to suggest any of it, it would be watch it all the way up till maybe 2 episodes past the middle and then stop. And I think you'd have a better opinion of Discovery. Yeah, I think we're going to end it there, guys. Again, I will be more than happy to take the L or whatever those new kids call it. And let me say this: if Discovery Season 2, they knock off all of this "let's attack all conservatives" BS. If they either admit that it isn't prime timeline, or they try to make it more consistent, and they don't, jerk around, I will be one of the biggest advocates for Discovery. When The Expanse went down, I did a lot within my small sphere to try to help get it back up and try to push it forward. And I would be more than happy to do the exact same thing for Discovery if they turn it around. And I hope we'll be there. I really do. But anyway, guys, first I want to say welcome to being a lore master, Robin Leon. Star Trek Discovery is coming back in 2019. We'll be doing after shows after every episode. So, everybody's been asking for that. I'm really looking forward to it. Guys, don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. As always, it's fun. Next week, I am off. You will still get new videos, but I won't be doing any of this. If you really want to help me out, because I'm really concerned about that week when it comes from an ad revenue standpoint, if you really want to help out, go and watch your favorite playlist. Just pick one. Watch it all the way through for me. That really, that helps a lot more than you know. And I'm probably doing a stream tomorrow night, and I'll be doing one Saturday, and then I'll be back on Friday from there. So 7 days from Friday. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next Lore Reloaded.